Okay. Morning, everyone. This webinar will begin in approximately 1 minute. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This webinar will begin in approximately 1 minute. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Toya Hemingway, and I am chapter chair here at SCORE Chicago. SCORE is a national nonprofit association dedicated to helping small businesses get off the ground, to grow, and to achieve their goals through education and mentorship. We have been serving the needs of small business owners across the country since 1964. Here at SCORE Chicago, our mentors are experienced entrepreneurs, corporate managers, and executives with backgrounds in a diverse set of industries and specialties who help small businesses start, develop, and grow through their expertise. We offer free and confidential mentoring on an ongoing basis, as well as low cost or no cost training and free online workshops. In addition, we offer numerous templates and tools on our website. If you're interested in being mentored, please go to score.org and submit a mentoring request. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Lantadilla Paulo. Lantadilla is an immigrant from Angola. He is Pan-African, a global citizen, and an entrepreneur. He has an MBA from Eastern Illinois University and a bachelor's degree in accounting from Michigan State University. Paulo is a certified public accountant and has Series 79 and 63 accreditations. His experience spans consulting, accounting, and assurance, fund administration, and investment banking. He has financial reporting. He had financial reporting responsibilities for more than 12 funds and a combined asset under management above 5 billion. Manages deal flow totaling over 90 million in capital raising efforts and oversees M&A transactions with more than 100 million in enterprise value. Very impressive. Paulo is a mentor of SCORE Chicago and a board member of the Cancer Support Team, a nonprofit organization. In his free time, he enjoys cooking, playing soccer, free time is if you have some, and creating educational content for his YouTube audience. A reminder, this webinar is being recorded, will be shared with all participants, as well as the information that is being shared with you today. You will receive it within 3 business days. Also, please present any questions that you have in the Q&A box. Thank you, Paulo.
Thank you, Toya. Again, uh, I am always impressed with the introduction that people make for me. But for people connecting in our webinar today, I want to welcome you, and this webinar is for you and not for me or for Toya. We as an organization, we're here to support entrepreneurs, small business owners across the US. We want to help you be successful. Okay. When I connect in any webinar, I always bring a pen and my notepad so that I can take notes, so that I can learn from people presenting, but also the questions that are coming from business owners or folks on the other side who have amazing questions that often leads me to new learning opportunities. So again, I want to welcome you to today's webinar. Again, my name is Lunta Di La Paulo, and I am not going to try to give another overview of my background here, but here's what I want you to know. I have been helping small businesses outside of what I did on my corporate world for a little over 5 years now. Right now, we have a number of clients across the US, and most of my clients today are exactly small businesses and more likely like you, and we help these business owners today achieve three things, and and a number of other clients who come through SCORE, which is a free organization, right? We don't, as a SCORE, we don't charge for absolutely anything, or certain trainings are very, very low cost to support SCORE as an organization. But a lot of the small businesses who come to us usually find the help they need, whether it's a mentor that they get assigned or someone who get connected with them that way. Okay, so today we're gonna kick off our business plan series, and we're gonna be looking into how do you write your overview of a business plan, how do you describe your company, the industry where you're operating, and your how you perform your SWOT analysis. Okay. And the first thing that I always try to get into other people's mind in training sessions like this is to start with the why. Okay. Most of us probably have come across the work of Simon Sinek, who wrote an incredible book starting with why. Okay. So that's really the first question here that I want us to think about as either business owners or aspiring business owners, or someone, even if you are in a corporate job like I used to be and thinking about doing that transition into self-employment. We really need to start with this important question, right? Why am I looking to write this business plan, right? Why am I looking to write this business plan? And some of the things that I'm gonna be sharing here are gonna be purposefully repetitive so that you can learn and get the right information through the process of repetition, okay? So we're gonna start thinking about why we are looking to write a business plan, okay? Are you looking to write the business plan because you need to get clarity on your own business? Okay, assuming you are a business owner. Are you looking to write a business plan because you are looking to get clarity on a new business you're looking to launch? Or are you looking to write a business plan to go out there to raise funds for a project, for a business? Okay, is it gonna be equity? Is it gonna be debt that you're looking to raise? So a very important element to begin with, right? Why are you looking to write a business plan? Okay. Unless you can answer this question, the rest of this is gonna be meaningful. Okay. If you don't answer this initial question, trust me, the rest is gonna be very useless. Because in my profession, I've held small businesses, mid-sized businesses, including large businesses. whether it's raising the capital, whether it's selling the company, or simply trying to expand to another state, or trying to hire new employees and understanding how their business is gonna change. And oftentimes, business owners who do not have a written business plan, they lack the clarity to understand how their business is more likely going to perform. Okay. So today we're seeing a lot of people saying things like, you don't need a business plan to start a business. Sure, you don't. Okay. But you are going to start a business that you have no idea what to expect or what assumptions drive that business or the industry where you are. Okay. So business plans are still very important. Okay. Even if it's simply an exercise that a bank is requiring you to have before they can give you a loan. It's still very important for you as a business owner to understand the different pieces that make up the business plan, because these pieces will give you clarity around where you are and where you're going. Okay? Is this making sense? Okay, so the first thing that I want you to get is really to understand why you're trying to write a business plan. Okay, please, follow my example. Have your notepad there, okay, with your pen. As we are having this webinar, write down, okay, why am I looking to write a business plan? Okay, and if you have an answer, please write your answer down. If you don't have an answer just yet, okay, then this is really a good time for you to just, write that down and then revisit this question after the webinar, okay? So when we start writing the business plan, right, we have to write our overview. Sometime it's going to be considered an executive summary in other context, okay? And we're still going to continue building up on these whys, okay? So number one, why am I writing this business plan? And maybe you're writing this plan because you're launching a business, or because you're launching a new product, or because you're looking to buy a new business, or maybe because you're looking to sell a business, or you're looking to raise money to fund your business, whether it's a new business or an existing business. Okay. So that's one of the other whys we're trying to figure out here. Okay. And when we are describing we're writing our overview, right? We're looking to make sure we are including, okay, another element of why, okay, why someone should care about reading our business plan, okay? We are writing we are putting in writing, okay, the reasoning behind why someone needs to read the business plan and take action, okay? If I am writing a business plan to raise capital, let's just say equity, okay, from other investors, my main goal, it's gonna be at that overview of my business plan to really make sure that I'm conveying this. I'm writing this business plan for the purpose of giving potential investor the right information they need, comprehensive information they need to make a decision on whether or not they would like to invite me for a conversation around investing into the business. Or if I'm looking to raise money through banks, looking to raise debt, right? My overview of the business plan will highlight that. I am writing this business plan contain information that allows lenders or banks to have informed data about the company to allow them to underwrite or provide support in the underwriting team to provide debt to the new business. Okay. I am articulating why someone should care about the information that I'm providing to them. Okay. But in the event you are writing the business plan, let's say for yourself, right? I'm writing this business plan so that I can have clarity on where I am today and where I'm looking to go. The business plan will allow me to understand a little bit more where the company is today. Okay. So that's a little bit of how that overview should look like. A really good example that I'd like you to consider is there is a lot of free resources you can actually use to get a little bit of information. If you can go to Chicago Public Library, okay, there are a number of resources in the Chicago Public Library, and one of these resources is industry research, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why this is important. When you go into industry research, there is also company-specific research database. Go to that company-specific database and find any company that you like, okay? And download the report of that company, or if going into Chicago Public Libraries is a lot of work, just type on Google the name of the company that you'd like to read about and include investor relations. Okay. When you get to the website of that company, download the annual report or the famous 10K. Okay. In that 10K, read the overview of that company, how that company describes themselves. Okay. I'm gonna show an illustration here in a second, but let me go a little bit more into when you are writing that overview piece, okay? That company overview. You also will need to include the pain point or the problem you're looking to solve, okay? Through that business plan and how you're looking to solve it, or how the steps, the solution you have come up with around that problem. Here's the problem that I often find with small business owners or startup founders. They start with the solution and they don't they rarely tell us what the problem they're looking to solve. Okay, that's the bad way to go about this. You need to show the problem. You need to show how this problem is so big, it's so critical that people are willing to pay for it to be solved. Okay. I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA. What's the problem that I solve for my clients today? A lot of people come to my business because they're overpaying taxes and they want someone who can help them find ways to reduce their taxes legally and get that extra money to put into areas of their life that will give them higher returns. Okay? That's one of the problems that I'm solving for people. As you are writing your business plan, as you're starting to write your overview of the company, the description, whatever you want to call it, what is that big problem, okay, that you're looking to solve? What's the pain point, right? A lot of us have heard this expression, the pain points you're looking to address, okay? What's the issue you're looking to address, okay? Maybe a pleasure you're seeking to magnify. Okay, so very important that you articulate that. So as we start navigating these, right, I need you to write down, okay, the pain, you start with your heading, okay, pain points, and then underneath that, write at least 3 pain points that you understand, you conceive that your potential client would have. And we're going to talk about your potential clients in a little bit here because they make up that overview and description. Okay. So, what are the 3 pain points you're looking to solve? Okay. What are the 3 problems that make you feel like, not feel like, let me take a step back here. What are the 3 big problems that people continuously come to you and share with you that I wish I could find a way to solve this. I'm even willing to pay for this. I just want it to be gone. Okay. Is it in your local community, at the state level, at the national level, at the international level? Okay. What's the problem you're looking to solve? Okay. I gave you one example of the type of problem I help business owners solve. Okay. Oftentimes, other business owners come to us because they feel like they're getting ready to retire, but they don't have enough money into their retirement, and they are expecting to sell their business to get some proceeds to fund their retirement. Okay. And they come because they are not even sure if their business is actually ready to be sold. And more often than not, the answer is yes, it's not ready. So we help them organize a business that is actually valuable in 6 months or more, okay, that will command a higher premium when we put it for sale. Okay. So what's that problem you are helping people solve? If you are a restaurant, for example, okay, I love food, I love cooking, okay, w- how are you helping your patrons? Okay. Oftentimes, when I go out looking for food, I'm looking to save time because I don't want to spend time in the kitchen cooking. Uh, Sometime I want the experience, right? Chicago is an amazing place for that experience. There is cuisine for all over the world. If I want a French food, I know where to find it. If I want a Thai food, I know where to find it. If I want Mexican food, I know where to find it. I want that experience. As a restaurant, what kind of problem are you solving? Right. And sometimes, believe it or not, it actually saves me money to buy food from a restaurant than to cook because of the cost benefit analysis between spending 1 hour of my time cooking and 1 hour of my time uh, doing the work for my clients, right? So at least in my understanding, right, restaurants help me solve these three problems, right? I don't have enough time and I have to divide my time between business and kitchen, and I will opt for business. Therefore, restaurants are there to help me solve that, right? Restaurant give me the opportunities to experience something different than I would have the ability to experience if I was trying to do it on my own, right? I don't need to go to France to experience the French cuisine. I don't need to travel to Italy to experience Italian cuisine. So again, what's the problem you're looking to solve? Okay. What's the problem? Write at least 3 bullet points, just like I did here, right, in this slide, that shows the three problems you're looking to solve. And then next to them, okay, you will write how you intend to solve these problems. And all these together will go into your company description. Okay. So next, we talked about the problem we're looking to solve. Another very important question is whose problem you're looking to solve, right? Whose pain you're looking to solve, you're looking to address, right? Whose pleasure you're looking to magnify, okay? As a business owner, we don't serve everybody, okay? We're not in the business of being the Walmart of small businesses. It's just not cost effective for most of us. Therefore, we need to find one group of customers that is going to be profitable enough for us, at the same time allows us to provide really high quality services to these people while ignoring the rest of the world. Okay, that's called finding your ideal customer. You've probably heard this expression before. Okay. So write down on your notes, okay, what's that target group that has the problem that you're looking to solve. Okay, so my niche today is small businesses. But within small businesses, okay, since the beginning of this year, we're starting to narrow down, okay, to one specific subset of business owners, right? Business owners that who generates at least 500,000 in revenue are our subset that we are now encouraged to to redesign our business to only serve them. Okay. We brought one partner in our company that is now also responsible to only service marketing agency. That's another subset within the universe of small businesses. Look, there are over 35 million small businesses across the US. We can't serve all of them, right? And even within the marketing agencies, right, across the US, there is less than 50,000 marketing agencies. And it's a little bit more doable for us to target our messaging that is very clear, that is very, very much designed to these folks, right? So as a small business owner, okay, you have identified the problem, you are confident you have a solution that meets that problem, and you also know who has that problem that you're trying to address. Okay, let me talk a little bit about why the niche is very important. Okay, why the niche is very important. As a business owner, okay, I get my livelihood from my company. I don't have a salary from someone else. I run my own payroll. I pay myself a salary that I have fixed, and I have employees that I have to pay. Okay. One of the things that I always have to ask myself, and oftentimes when I have conversations with my client, is how much money do we need to make to be able to cover our operating expenses, our salary costs, and pay Paulo a reasonable salary so that he can have a decent lifestyle without having to feel like he's struggling to make ends meet. Okay? Because if I'm not doing something that I love and it's paying me well enough, and I'm going through a lot of headache just to make ends meet, the level of quality to my service to my clients will decline. So we could choose to be a company that have 1,000 clients that pay us, okay, $100 per month, and have a very difficult company to run because we have so many clients that we have to service, and we would need to have many more people in our firm to service this client. Or we can choose to service clients that can pay us at least $1,000 per month, okay, and have only 20 to 30 of these clients and still make a reasonable income, okay? So that's the trade-off oftentimes you have to make as a business owner when you are choosing, okay, that niche that you need to work with, okay? And when you and please, if you can go through this exercise, okay? Start with, okay, how much do I need to make each year, including taxes, okay? So that I can have a decent lifestyle. And then from there, you know, do your reverse engineering to arrive into the revenue you need per year to cover your operating expense, your staff, your personal living expense, right? And still have a little bit of profit to be reinvested in the business. Because guess what? Every year, right, the inflation is going up, and some of the software we use, the cost for those are also going up. Okay, so we need a little bit of money there. So make sure you have that, right? Make sure you understand the pain points, you understand for whom you're solving it, and you are clear about how you can deliver these solutions. Okay. So so far, any question, anything that you feel like you know, it is not making sense, and we can cover that quickly.
There's
Okay.
just,
Is Go ahead, Toya.
I was just going to read it for you, but go right ahead.
Yeah, so business template, business plan template. If you go to SCORE website, you will find several models of business template. So just go there and you'll find a template there. Okay. Continuing. So we've been talking a little bit about the why. Okay, the why you're writing the business plan, right? We talked about the pain points. We talked about the solutions. And we talked about the niche you are, right? Trying to create these solutions for. Okay. And when we talk about the solution, right, in other words, you know, what, whether the service or the product that will be meeting the needs of a potential target market. Okay. Um, Here's a very important point you need to kind of feel there, right, around that potential target market. If you, depending on the type of business you're looking to launch, okay, if the target market is too small, okay, so I'm gonna kind of jump here a little bit just to give you this piece of information, but this is really around your company strategy, okay? Generally, there are three competing strategy framework we use when we think about businesses. Okay. Number one, you have not necessarily in this order, but you have the first type of strategy that is you're gonna be the low cost service provider or product provider. Okay. That's a good example is the Walmarts of the world, right? Low cost works when you have a very large uh, population or client base that you can go after. Okay. So business, you've probably heard this before, and I'm gonna repeat it. It's the game of numbers, right? One way for me to make $1 million is to have 1 million customers and sell them a product or service for $1. I'm gonna get to $1 million. Okay. Low cost, large client base. Okay, that's the low cost strategy. You are designing your product to be the most low cost possible. Okay, even at the national level, right? Today, a lot of our car manufacturers are in a rough spot, and many of them had to outsource, offshore their production to places like Brazil, China, okay, because of the cost of producing these vehicles. uh, One interesting situation that is happening today is right in the electrical vehicle space, right? Tesla is the American model that is dominant. That is the cheapest Tesla would be around $35,000. Okay, but in China, right, electrical vehicles you can find an electrical vehicle at $10,000. Okay, the lowest price. So to compete against Tesla, to compete against these manufacturers, right? It's almost impossible for them to compete. And Tesla, therefore, have to go into a completely different market to that of the Chinese rival. Okay. So as a business owner, you're thinking about your strategy. Are you going to be a low cost that goes to everybody like Walmart or like China today produces very low cost products and sells it to the rest of the world, to the rest of the world? Or are you going to be a second type of strategy, a differentiated premium product, right? When you look at the type of the German manufacturers, right? You're looking into very beautiful, elegant luxury cars that is not for everybody. It's just for a handful of people that they are producing these cars, right? So as a business owner, it's also part of your job to really define where your customers are gonna be. Okay. And that's based on the strategy you're designing, right, to go after these people. Okay. So one example, going back again to restaurants, right? If you are a US person, you live in Chicago and you are launching a restaurant, for example, to recreate Mexican experience in Chicago, right? You want to launch a a Mexican restaurant that really replicates what it's like to be in a to have a meal in a Mexican household. Okay. Uh, your target group could be Mexican visiting the US or tourists from other parts of the world looking to experience Mexican cuisine, or even US individuals just looking experiences around Mexican cuisine as well, right? So you have narrowed down your customer group to really focus in one specific need, okay, to one specific need. And the assumption for that is the market is large enough to allow you to have enough client to come to your business on a recurring basis, okay, on a recurring basis. Because if your strategy, whether it's low cost and broad, or excuse me, specialized, premium, differentiated strategy, but for a very small segment, you still need to make it broad enough, right? For you to be able to make money and to stay in business. Okay. Back to my tax practice, for example, right? The reason we are in business is because there is the tax law that continues to grow and continues to be complex. And there is a federal, and in many states, they are mandate to be tax compliant, right? So that gives us a market of at least 170 million Americans, right? It's a large enough market to make it economical for us tax professionals to continue in business, right? When you are evaluating the prospects of your business, right? Can you answer that question with confidence? And by the way, you can find resources about market size if you go to the Chicago Public Library. Okay, in the website, if you don't have a Chicago Public Library card, please go get one. It's free. um it there is so much resources for free that you can use, okay, that will give you the right data or at least estimates, okay, to understand a little bit more, not only the business you're starting or you are in, and also the overall market. So make sure you have these pieces of information, okay, make sure to have this piece of information. Now we're gonna be shifting a little bit our gears to move quickly into the industry overview. Okay, so before we do that, any questions around what we covered so far with the company? Okay, it doesn't seem like we have any questions. So let's talk about industry overview. Okay, why industry overview matters? Why is it important? Okay, one of the famous, one of the most famous worldwide used framework for industry analysis is Porter's five forces. Okay, and I'm gonna just remove it for a second here. Okay. Porter's five forces is a framework that allows us to determine whether or not a given industry is going to be lucrative. Okay. Because businesses function within economies, within industries. Okay. If you don't understand at the high level, at the macro level, okay, what's happening, what's taking place, your business have no future. Okay. As a business owner, you need to start paying attention around what's happening with the economy, what's happening within the industry you operate in, what in other industries around your industries impact your industry. Okay. So at the macro level, before we touch at the industry, at the macro level, our economy, okay, what do you need to understand? The impact of interest rates in the economy, the impact of inflation rate in the economy, the impact of unemployment rate in the economy. These are three variables that have major impacts to our economy and to the rest of the world. Okay. Interest rate. We all know when interest rate go up, right? What's happened? All of the banks will also move along. When the Federal Reserve comes and says, look, buddies, we're going to be tying up a little bit our economy. Okay. We're going to move our interest rate a little bit higher. Guess what's happened? The cost of mortgage goes up. The cost of borrowing money as a owner goes up. Okay. The cost of credit cards goes up. Everything becomes a little bit expensive, and that trickles down to the bottom of the rest of us, right? Everything will be slightly more costly. So, as a business owner, you need to have a sense of what's happening at the level of the economy. Okay. You need to make sure you understand these and how these elements impact your industry. You might not think this is important, but when the Federal Reserve meets, the Board of Governors meet, you really should try to understand what are they saying and why are they saying what they're saying. Okay. What policy they are deciding and how that's going to impact us as business owner, the industry as business owners. If you are a real estate investor, right? Every point increase in interest rate, that means less deal you have to make, right? Less deals, less real estate you can purchase. So you need to make sure you get a good sense of what's happening at the macro level. So let's go back at Porter's five forces, right? Porter's five forces is known for telling us, hey, here are the five things that impact profitability in a given industry. Okay. If all these five elements are not favorable to you, okay, as a business owner, you're gonna have a hard time making a profit in that industry. Okay. So, not in any particular order, but here's the five things. Number one, the existence of substitute to your product. Okay. As a CPA, right, we have other well, I wouldn't necessarily consider them substitute. Those would actually be uh, com co competitive. Let me actually use another example. So if I go to a store, I have margarine and I have butter. They can serve as substitute for each other. If I am in the business of producing butter, then margarine can become a problem to my business. Here's another example. For breakfast, there are so many options in front of us. I can choose to have a breakfast with bread. I can choose to have breakfast with pancakes. I can choose to have a breakfast just with hot meals or with vegetables. I have so many options in front of me. Okay. That's called the presence of substitute in my industry. The question now is, am I doing business in an industry with high number of substitute products and or services? The higher the number of of the substitute is, the more likely that my overall industry is gonna have a lower profit level. Is this making any sense? Are we following? Okay, so your job as a business owner is to sit down and think, whether it's with a score mentor or with other members of your team or your spouse or your loved ones. Okay, think about what are some potential substitute to the products we offer in our firm. Okay, let's move to the second element, to the second force affecting an industry: competition. Okay, the level of competition from existing businesses in the industry. Okay, I was on a call recently with a business owner who was considering to sell their business. Okay, right now in the US, there are over 50,000 businesses for sale. Okay, over 50,000 businesses available for sale. But we also know from the most recent statistics that the generation of baby boomers are starting to get ready to transition out of the business ownership. And there is over 30 million of them. Okay. And about 8 to 10% of baby boomers are business owners. And they will need to pass their business to the next generation. Okay. If we use these stats as our starting point, we are talking about another 280 or 250 to 350 new businesses coming to the market that are going to be put for sale. But that's not only the competition that these business owner potentially will be facing in the next 10 years, okay? But also we have the fact that investors look at other assets to put and allocate their capital to determine which one will yield the highest return at the lowest risk possible, right? That's the idea of absolute return, right? An optimal point where our return and risk is optimal for the investor, right? I could decide to invest in real estate instead of buying a business. I could decide to put my money in the stock market instead of buying a business. I could decide to put my money into government bonds instead of buying a business. Okay. And even across these asset classes, okay, I have thousands of options that I can pick from. So when we had this conversation, I was showing to this business owner that unless he had a very much valuable business, okay, that is attractive, has all the right or at least most of the right things and can operate without him, is gonna have a hard time to sell it. And when he does, he's not gonna sell the business at a high profit or high margin, okay? Because there is a high competition. Now, the question for you, business owner, who's following me right now is, do you understand the competition in your industry? Today, as a CPA practice, I am not only competing with other CPA firms in Chicago, I am essentially competing with every possible CPA practice across the United States. Why? Because I don't need, or business owner rather, don't need to walk in an office today to have their taxes done, to meet with an advisor, to meet with their CPA professional, because internet have given us access to all that. Okay. I have clients in Hawaii, Ohio, Hawaii. I have clients in Texas. I don't need to be in Texas to be their CPA. Do you understand? If you don't understand who is who's your competitors, okay, you are not gonna understand who's eating your lunch. So who's your competitor at the local level, at the state level, at the national level, at international level? You know, one thing that has made us CPA very fortunate, okay, is barrier to entry. You know, there are a lot of bookkeepers out there. There are a lot of people who are not licensed that are preparing taxes. Okay. Some of them are doing really good job for their clients, other not so much. But what makes us different to a lot of business owner is the trust that we have built and the reliability they have on CPAs. They understand CPAs are professionals who are held at the highest professional standard possible, right? And that's one of the things that makes us competitive in our space. I've had clients coming to me because someone prepared their tax returns and suddenly they receive IRS letters, notice, and the person no longer responds to them, ghosts them. Okay. This happens more often than I wish it was even allowed or possible, but it's happening. But with a CPA, this kind of issue do not happen because if it's happened, you can call our board of accountancy, whether in Illinois, I'm in Illinois and Michigan CPA license in these two states, and call them and say, hey, this CPA Lunta Di La Paulo filed my tax return and now ghosts me and doesn't respond to my email, and the board of accountancy is gonna call me, and I might be fined, suspended, and put into disciplinary actions, right? And because I'm a professional, I am not gonna do that. But also, they are very tough repercussion if I acted in any unprofessional or unethical way. So we essentially have a good defensive position versus our competition, right? Let's move on. Buyer power. Buyer power, excuse me, is the ability of the buyers to exercise significant influence in the price your product will be marketed in the marketplace. I'm gonna repeat. Buyer power is essentially when a buyer can influence how much you can charge for your goods and services. Here's an example. In a marketplace where there are as many buyers and as many sellers, right, which typically is called a perfect competition market, right? Anybody can charge whatever price they want, and those who want to pay for it, they will pay, and those who don't want to pay for it, they'll leave, they'll find someone else, including in the CPA firm, right? A CPA space, excuse me. People come and say, follow, you're expensive. Tell them, nope, I'm not expensive. You can always find a cheaper option. Okay. But you're not going to find the same quality of service that we are providing here. And we need to pay our staff good money so that we can have good team to service you. There is no problem for you finding someone else who can be at your price and service you. Okay. So it's a choice we've made to reduce the power buyer in our space, in our firm. Okay. So the product you are offering, the question is, can other or can potential buyers influence how much you can charge them? If the answer is yes, as a business owner, you need to come up with strategies to reduce that buyer power. But be mindful about the fact that your ability to determine and to enforce your price will be contingent upon several factors. And one of them is your brand, your credibility, okay? Your market reputation. The reason we don't have any problem to spend $1,000 with Apple product is because of what we associate with Apple, okay? So does your business, your product, your services command a high value in front of your clients or prospective clients to the point where they will come to your price and say, yes, I agree. When I started my business, I used to think I need to give people a discount to become my client, and how wrong I was. Because the type of client that usually will come and ask for discount are usually shopping for prices. And when I learned this, and with the help of my mentor, again, if you don't have a SCORE mentor, please reach out. Okay, go to SCORE website and find a mentor that can help you get ahead with your business. And with the help of my mentor, I have decided not to give discounts anymore. And because of that one single step, that single action, I have managed to weed out the, the type of client who eventually were going to be a big headache for my team and for myself. Right now, we are in a better position because we bring clients who value the work we do for them, who value the solution we create for them, and are happy to pay us a fair share. Okay. Does your buyer have significant power versus your company? Number four, supplier power. Supplier power, as you can probably already guess here, is the ability of your supplier to influence and to take on significant portion of your company's profit. So how does that actually take place? Okay. If you are in a space where you are highly dependent on a few supplier, these suppliers can decide the price to charge you as their potential buyer that could make you lose profit. So here's a good example. If you are, let's say, a seafood restaurant, oh, here's a great example. Uh, Red Lobster is closing down a lot of their restaurants. And part of the reason of there are, of course, a lot of opinions out there, but here's something that a lot of my other professional friends agree on. When you review Red Lobster financial reports, what do you see? And also you follow their news. They had several seafood provider vendors, but after they were acquired by a private equity firm, they decided to only use one of these vendors. And this vendor was actually charging them now more than they were previously paying, right? And of course, they had that all, a little bit of change around, you know, selling their real estate and start renting, right? That's called sell lease back arrangement. That ended up actually costing them significant sums of money. Okay. So the suppliers of the seafood now were charging them significantly more money. And that cost them a little bit more squeeze into their gross profit. Because as a restaurant, you have your revenue and then you have cost of goods sold, right? The cost of the meals, and then you have the gross profit. And then you have your operating expenses here underneath to get to your earnings before taxes. Yeah. And if you can control your cost of meals, okay, it's going to be very hard for you to make money because that's the variable portion. And then you have the fixed portion or mostly fixed portion underneath that. So if your suppliers increase prices year after year and you're not passing that price to your customers, and if you do and you lose customers, then you're gonna be in an industry with a lot of problems to resolve. So as a business owner, you really need to understand these different forces we're considering here. Okay. And the last force is the power of new entrants, right? How easy, this is the question, how easy is it for someone to launch a business in your industry? The higher the barrier to entry, the better your industry is at keeping profit. Because the more people come into the industry, the more that profit have to be shared among the members of that industry. So again, going back to my industry, today essentially there aren't regulations around who become a tax professional, right? You can decide that in many states, if you have 12 grades of education completed and you do a tax training that a lot of service providers out there can give you, you can open a tax practice. Okay. But that doesn't mean you'll do the right things for your clients if you don't have any previous experience. Okay. So the threat of new entrants, it's a very real reality. So when you analyze your industry, right, are there regulations that make it difficult for new entrants to come in? Are there barriers, maybe in terms of capital expenditure that need to be involved, right? Folks who are in the oil and gas industry, for example, there are significant regulation and there is a lot of initial capital that needs to go there, right? If you want to be to invest in real estate, building homes, right? There is significant capital that needs to go there, right? So as a business owner, do you understand your industry enough? And have you determined that you have enough leeway, enough space to be profitable in that industry? Okay. The other thing that you need to do about your industry is the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, right? Some of these are going to be coming as part of your Potter's Five Forces analysis. Okay. What are the strengths of this industry? Are there any dependency in this industry? Does your industry depend on other industries to be viable? Okay. A lot of us are impacted by the price of oil, right? When the oil of price goes up, a lot of us get impacted. A lot of our businesses get impacted, right? What other industries influence and impact your business? If I have a company that lays asphalt or build roads, okay, I am closely monitoring the price of oil. I am closely monitoring, right, whether or not there are union activity taking place. Okay, if I'm a company that imports food from Brazil or food from China, I am closely watching what are the US relationship with these countries that I'm importing from or exporting from or exporting to, excuse me, right? I am making sure that I understand the tariffs, the rules, the regulations around these companies, aliás, excuse me, around these countries. Okay, so that's a little bit of your industry overview, right? After you've done this assessment, this analysis, then you start writing down about your industry. Okay, you clearly have an idea about your industry. Here's some additional things you need to understand about your industry. Okay, you need to understand who are the big players in your industry, and I hope you're taking notes of all of the information we're sharing here. Okay, who are the big players in your industry? Right? For example, us in accounting, right? We have the big fours, and then we have the top 100 companies across the US. At the local level, it's quite irrelevant. But we understand who are the players, who are influencing. What are the industry associations, right? I am the member of the American Institute of CPAs, right? It's a very powerful organization that often advocates in front of Congress, in front of lawmakers, okay, to make sure that our profession is protected and small businesses are served the best possible way. What are the industry associations in your industry, in your space? What are the emerging trends? Okay, if you're a marketing agency, right? We know AI is being very disruptive in this industry, just as in many other industries, right? What are the technological shifts taking place in your industries? What are the operational challenges in your industries? Is labor costs going higher than you expected and starting to eat up more and more into the company's profit in that industry? So all these elements, right, need to make up your industry overview and industry analysis, right? When you're presenting your business plan to the banker, even if they weren't educated about your industry, they will have a good understanding of your industry and evaluate the level of risk when underwriting your business. Whether it's a bank, whether it's to an investor, whether it's to for yourself, right? We gotta make sure we do understand this. So let's go back into the SWOT analysis for your business now. Okay. Your business SWOT analysis. Again, SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and the threats around the business. For most small businesses, or the average small business in the US, have a really big problem understanding what are the weaknesses around their company. And part of that is because of the biases we carry. When I'm doing a strategy session for my own business, I bring other business professionals to help me get a clear sense of my business. I bring my partner, I bring my brother, who is one of my key advisors. Okay. He doesn't have a business, he's not a business owner, but he's a really great critical thinker. And he asked me questions that sometimes I didn't even consider them important to begin with. And then he showed me why these questions matter. And again, that's part of the weaknesses that I did not initially had realized that it was a weakness for me. So as a business owner, I will strongly encourage you to think about finding a score mentor or hiring a professional if you can afford them, okay, to help you navigate your strategization, right? When you're writing a business plan around your SWOT analysis or your business strategy or industry analysis, okay? Because the weaknesses are elements in your business that you may not be aware of, but make your business less profitable and increases the risk in your business. Again, I'm going to repeat these. Weaknesses in your business are the factors, the element, these things that we may or may not be aware of, but have the potential of reducing the profit in our business and increase our risk. Here's some weaknesses that a lot of businesses that I talk to don't often pay attention to. Okay. Financial reporting. A lot of businesses think about their, not even think about the financial reporting at all. They, during tax season, they take their pile of papers to their tax preparer to do their tax preparation. And that's it. The only thing that matters to them is the cash that comes in and the cash that leaves to their business through their bank account. And nothing could be more dangerous for a business owner than not having a clear picture of their financial reporting. And here's why it's a serious weakness that you need to consider addressing right away. When you don't have a clear financial reporting, you don't know the revenue you bring in a business per month, per week. Some businesses need to track their revenue on a daily basis, right? And when you don't know your numbers, you don't know whether you are growing or you're dying. You don't know your operating cost structure. You don't know what part of your operating expense is fixed, is variable, or it's mixed. You don't know the assets you have in your company, the liabilities you have in your companies. You don't have a clear understanding of your financial performance. And that's a big problem. Thanks God we have the Securities and Exchange Commission, right, that enforces the publicly traded companies to release information to the public on a quarterly basis or when any material event takes place in the company and then on an annual basis, right? Imagine if Apple did not have an organized financial reporting system, right? That's one of the weaknesses that many small businesses have, but they do not take it into account as a weakness. The second weakness is around tax compliance. Most business owners, and sadly that I'm saying this, only meet with their tax professional once a year. Once a year. I cannot understand how a business owner who has a business where they derive their livelihood only meet with their tax professional once a year. Please don't do that. You gotta meet with your tax professional at least on a quarterly basis, right? Not only to make sure you are paying your estimated quarterly tax withholding, but also to figure out, okay, is there anything we can do to minimize our tax bill in the incoming tax season? Okay, to help you make decisions that impact your business. And tax compliance is a big issue because a lot of small businesses, okay, are losing significant sums of money in penalties and in fees, in late filing penalties, okay, because they are not compliant throughout the year. And as a consequence, the money that could have been going into funding their retirement or funding their children's education or funding their lifestyle, travel, and give them good experiences, it's going into the pockets of the IRS. And please, I am not against paying taxes. I pay my fair share, just like the Congress tells us we have to pay our fair share. Okay. But the Congress is not going to determine, or the IRS is not going to determine what is that fair share. You're the one who's determining what's that fair share by following the tax code, the tax law, by leveraging the loopholes, okay, the guidance of the IRS to invest your resources accordingly to what the government intention is, right? The tax code gives us incentives and penalties around what the government wants us to do and what the government doesn't want us to do, right? Employees, W-2 folks get taxed the highest. Why? Because that's where the government gets a lot of its money. And there aren't many incentives around that. Business owners have more ways to reduce their tax burden because the government clearly wants us to be business owners. That has been the driver of the American economy. Ownership, right? I own my own future, right? I create my own future. The government wants us to invest in the stock market. It lowers the tax we pay on capital gain, right? The government wants us to be investors. It lowers the taxes on passive income, right? The government wants us to now invest in clean energy, right? Now it's giving us tax brackets for solar, right? So you really need to make sure you understand, okay, where is the government incentives are and where are the penalties are as a business owner. And we are talking about this within the context of one of the key weaknesses, which is tax compliance. Sometimes when we run analysis in my firm with business owner to show them the cost of overpaying taxes, okay? For someone overpaying just $10,000 in taxes per year, in 10 years, right, using an average S&P 500 return, it would be almost $700,000. In 20 years, that amount grows to over $2 million if they had a good tax planning. And it's a weakness with small businesses but they don't consider that as a weakness. It's a misallocation of resources, right? We are a capitalist economy. One of the primary drivers of our economy is allocating, or rather, one of the key principles of our economy is allocating effectively and efficiently our resources. Because these resources are limited, I don't have the billions of Jeff Bezos. Therefore, the few resources that I have to put them into use where they will give me the highest return possible. If the highest return for you as a business owner is to paying the IRS, then good for you. But if it's gonna be into putting into your retirement or investing into real estate or investing in other business acquisition, then that's where you should be putting your resources. Is this making sense? So that's weakness number two. Weakness number three is around processes and systems. A good number of business owners don't have systems for bringing new client to their business. They don't have a process for onboarding clients. They don't have a process for recruiting employees, training employees, developing employees, for servicing clients, providing value to clients. Or when a relationship doesn't work well, offboarding clients or employees, right? So as a business owner, you have to have solid systems in your business. Recently, I had a meeting with a business owner who was looking to exit in the next 3 to 5 years. I ended up actually writing a blog post on our website about this conversation, right? But the business doesn't operate in her absence, essentially. The business is highly uh, evolved with her. If she's not in the business doesn't function properly. That's not a way of running a business, friends. You need to get in a place. You might not be there, okay? But you should start working towards having a business that works with or without you present. With or without you present. If your business, if something, God forbid, happens to you, you have to be home for a month without working, what's going to happen to your business? And please understand, we're talking about business plan. That's why it's so important for you to write a business plan, because if you don't write a business plan, all these conversations we're having here, the past 1 hour, okay, is not gonna be part of your internal conversation. And therefore, you don't know where there are risks, and you don't know where something is gonna come and hit you and kill your business. And this conversation is to help you put in writing a good understanding of your business. We have started with the company overview, the industry analysis. We're moving down to SWOT analysis, because I want you to be mindful about what's actually happening around you, around your company, around your business. Can you stay a month without working and your business still function? If you're not there just yet, it doesn't mean you cannot get there. It just means that you need to work on getting your business there. Okay? So that's the three weaknesses that I wanted to share with you so that you are mindful about them, because most of us small businesses don't even consider them as weaknesses. But they are serious problems that are slowly killing our business, taking the value away from our business. Okay. So, um, the strength, opportunities, a lot of us are really optimistic. We know how to find the opportunities, how to analyze them. We know our strength usually. Okay. But the weaknesses, the threats, our minds are not usually trained to find them, to identify them, to determine them. Okay. So I hope this webinar is been helpful to you. And please put your questions in the Q&A, and we're gonna address them in the next 30 minutes here. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about threats. Okay. When I think about threats, I'm thinking about the type of risks that if the event triggering the risk happens would be close to fatal to my business. Okay. So what are some examples of these? Number one, at the macro level, okay? If the economy went south today, would your business still be around? Would your business survive an economic decline? Okay. Uh, a number of you probably, or a lot of you remember the 2007, 2009, and more recently, the beginning of the pandemic, right? If an event of a massive scale took place today in the US or elsewhere in the world, today we're growing more and more dependent to China. If the Chinese economy collapses or their manufacturing capacity collapses, what's going to happen to your business? Do you have a backup plan to withstand the negative impacts for whatever negative element could take place in the world? I'll tell you a sad story. In 2022, I had a client, they were manufacturing LED lamps. Okay. They were they already had a little bit of debt. They were looking a little bit more financing. Their investors didn't have any more money to give them. So the last resort was to find debt. But we were navigating through really uncertain time through 2021, 2022 because of the pandemic. And a lot of the raw materials they use for their production here in the US was coming from China. And we all know that around that time, there was a massive supply chain constraint. Okay. And that resulted in a massive disruption to their business model, okay, to their business model that unfortunately ended up killing their business because of the cash flow issues. So, as a business owner, right, here's my recommendation to you. You gotta need to have reserves, okay? You have your operating account, you have your CapEx account funded, and you have your reserve accounts. In the event something massive happens, you still can't be around for the next 6 to 12 months. Yesterday, I had a meeting with a friend who is a banker at Huntington, and we were talking about the need for education for small businesses. And he told me something that I absolutely agreed with him. He said, Paulo, you know, a lot of people come to us and they think bankers are not their friend. We are, in fact, their friends, but most small businesses come to us when they are in a very bad position financially. And because of the type of risk they pose, it becomes really difficult and almost impossible to help them. If you can tell your clients this, and you was telling me, the best time for them to raise money from the bank, especially from the bank or from investors, it's when they are at the peak of their career or their business. When the business is doing incredibly well, when they don't need the money, okay? In my firm, we have our cash, we have lines of credit, okay? That sometimes when the math makes sense, we don't use our own cash, we fund our operation using a line of credit because of the return we could be getting from our cash elsewhere. So, business owners, please, please, please make sure you are talking with people, seeking help, building contingency plans, okay, into your business plan, into your business model. Okay. I'm gonna pause here and give us the remaining of our time here together for Q&A. Okay. Uh, Toya, I'm gonna give it back to you.
Wonderful, thank you. And if I can just take a second and just repeat what he just said about please do not consider your banker as your enemy. Please do embrace them and make sure that you're talking to them before you need those funds. It will make a big difference in the response that you get. So I can get on the bandwagon about that later. However, there are you do have some questions starting with earlier in your conversation, you were talking to people about going to the library and using the library as a resource. The question
Mhm.
is, how do they search for market size and value at a library?
Okay. Great question. Let me do a demo here for us. Um, so let me go to, okay, I hope I'm working with my uh my library card here. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay. This is the tab that I wanna please let me know if everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna type here Chicago Public Library. Okay, so I click the link to the library and then I go. Um, okay, can you see the public library website?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing just to log in. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back.
Okay. While he's
Log
doing that,
in.
I'm going to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded and the link to the recording will be shared with you along with all of the information that Paulo wanted you to have, including the slides.
Okay, so I have logged in and so I'm gonna go into browse. Okay, when I click browse, there is online resources here. Okay, you can also look up many other resources here. It's an amazing tool. Of course, this is not a webinar to show you how to use the rest of the library, but when you go to online resources and then you scroll down, okay, you scroll down. So if you're looking for data, information, resources, okay, you can search here by subject, okay? You can search here by subject, you'll find everything you need. I usually go to business and money, okay? Um, and then from here, they are a few resources. So ProQuest One Business has certainly, you can see here, there are business contents, newspapers, magazine, industry reports, and so forth. And then you can also use these directories and public records underneath here to find other information. For those who are asking about business plan, you can see you can get some of that here under encyclopedias and handbooks. Okay, business plans handbook usually have some good information, but for industry report, you can check here industry overviews when we go there. Okay. Okay, something is not good here. Let me go there again. Okay, something. Okay, seems like it's expired. I need to address this. But let me stop sharing and log out again. Give me just 1 second. Here we go. The library card. Very good. Okay. This is the right account. All right. I'm gonna go back and share my screen one more time. Thank you for your patience. Okay, and it also seems like my card has been expired since May, so I need to go to the library. Okay, it doesn't seem like this is gonna allow me, but if you went to business and money, and you scroll down to industry overview, that would have opened a window for you to actually start researching the industry. Unfortunately, I can't do anything right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We appreciate you trying to do that. And not all of our clients on the line are from Chicago. So whatever public library system that you're a part of would no doubt have the same kind of resources. So be sure to take advantage of
Mhm.
those.
Yep. Even if you have, a loved one, a son or daughter in college, colleges also have libraries, and many of them just let the community to use them as well. Uh, go there, talk to a librarian. They'll show you, what resources available can help you um, actually find the right answer.
Absolutely. Your next question is actually a comment from Scott, where he's offering Chat GPT or an AI system for individuals to use to help create their business plan. Um, and then the next question is asking you to show slide 4 again.
Um, Slide 4 again. That was an example of me briefly describing a made up company, but let me show that. Okay, so let's see. Yep. Is it clear?
Yes, I can see it.
Yep. But you'll also have a copy of this after the webinar.
Correct. Um,
Yep.
Miss Day, I can't pronounce the first name, but is asking, is this presentation mainly for product-based businesses, or can you apply the information to service consultant-based businesses as well?
I have a service-based business. And throughout the presentation, I used many of my own business example to show you that, this information applies to both way. We're writing a business plan that applies to you and your business. That's part of the reason we really made it a point to start this conversation with why are you writing the business plan, right? If you don't know why you're writing the business plan, the rest is not gonna make sense. Okay.
Daniel is asking about your comments about buying the buyer power
Yeah.
and and that the market that they're getting into has a competing party and they have high barrier to entry. The question seems to be focusing in on the discounting that you were talking about. He says, I have and will be, with a superior product and a strong brand idea, would offering a lower price disable my ability to build a strong brand?
Okay. Would offering a lower price disable my ability to build a strong brand? Okay. I'll say, Daniel, this is very specific. I'll need to have more facts than we have here before making a comment. If I did provide any answer here, it would be uh probably malpractice for me.
Okay. And the
Yeah.
next
So,
question, sorry, the next question,
if Daniel wants to reach out privately, please do.
the next question is focusing in on a specific industry as well, carpet cleaning. So we'll go to, what was the first common weakness that you identified?
That, at least from uh, based on my conversation with many small businesses, is financial reporting. Um, a lot of business owners have no idea how much it costs them to run their business, how much revenue or profit they are making, what assets they have, what liabilities and obligations they have. They're just trying to, get by. Okay, as and it's not ideal. Businesses have to be ran with data to make informed decisions. We're no longer in the Middle Ages, right? In the Dark Ages where we made decision. When I say we as humanity, we made decision based on speculation, based on fear, based on, you know, everything else but data. Today, we need data to make decision, and those who don't have data, they're not gonna make decisions that make sense. And if even if they are close to making sense, it's not gonna be an optimal decision. You need to have data. You need to have information that is relevant, that has high quality, that is free of material errors. Okay, I'm using here a little bit of accountant jargon, but the main idea is garbage in, garbage out, right? So you need to have really good information in front of you so that you can make decisions that are meaningful and useful to your business.
Absolutely. Um, Someone's saying, oh, well, I'm sorry. Uh, Richard says, I'm a freelance musician. I play keyboards and and he's also a songwriter. Which of these business principles apply, and what are some of the unique challenges in the music business?
Hey, that's an amazing question. Let me start with the challenges. Okay. Thanks God I have some friends who are musicians in Aruba, here in the US, and in Angola, where I am originally from. Okay. And the number one challenge musicians have is to make money with music. That's the number one. It's not, writing, it's not recording, it's not, finding a bar where they can play their music, or a radio that would take their recording. It's making money. It's learning how to monetize their music. Okay. Artists are largely bad at making money. Okay, so if you can overcome the challenge around monetizing your music, the rest of the challenges will become slightly more affordable to you. Okay, so learn to make money with your music. And I will say, let's use that as principle number one for you, at least for now. And if you want to have a separate conversation, please feel free to reach out. And whether it's with me or any other score mentor, we're gonna be here to help you.
Great, thank you so much. Natalie just wants to thank you. She finds the information very helpful.
Thank you,
Afua,
Natalie.
if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, and if I'm not, I apologize. Afua says, as a startup with little to no revenue and bootstrapping, do you advise we have a financial plan?
Absolutely, yes. Part of future webinars within this program, it actually has a financial plan webinar. So I would recommend you to not miss any of the webinars and especially that financial plan as well. Okay. So yes, you need to have a financial plan, but there is a science and art in building your financial plan. Okay. So if you stick around with the webinar series, you'll get the right information you need to actually get there.
Great answer. Thank you so much for that one. Anonymous says, where is the best place to start if you need funding to get started? For example, if you need initial capital to get started.
The first place is here, right? Through this business plan series, right? You need to have a business plan because the banks are gonna turn you away, uh, right? That upfront if you don't have a business plan to show them because they don't know your thought process, right? And of course, you'll need to figure out again, okay, which avenue are you looking to raise what? Debt or equity? And each one of these have their own implications. If I'm looking to raise debt, there are different types of debt, right? Am I looking to raise just quick cash to fund my business with a credit card? Am I looking to fund a business through an SBA loan? By the way, I'm actually here just next to the SBA office here in Chicago, right? Uh, you really want to make sure you know the type of money you're looking to raise because each one of the types of money, right, will have their own implication, right, including taxes as well as other business strategy implication. So uh, keep coming to the business plan series and find a score mentor if you can, or some other professional business advisor to help you navigate that. Okay.
Okay. How can someone reach out to you and obtain your services? Oh, okay, we're gonna have to take that one offline, sorry. Um, let's see here. Um, Alexander wants someone to take a look at their problem and solution. If you want to engage Lantadilla as a mentor, you can sign up for you can go to score.org and request him as a mentor. Alexandra says, is it possible to have a recording mailed to her? Yes, we are sharing this
Yep.
information with everyone. And let's see, what do you think about the carpet cleaning, residential and commercial cleaning business?
Carpet cleaning and residential cleaning business. Um, Look, my friend, I haven't really looked into the data around these two spaces, but here's my theory. And please, if someone has a better information, please share with the person who asked the question. But in the US, we're starting to have uh, big problems around service providers. My generation and those coming after me are not the type of people who learn how to use their hands to do things. Okay. Cleaning businesses, electrical companies, mechanical companies, or mechanics, excuse me, builders, carpenters. They are professions, they are type of businesses that support a large part of our economy. But we have a generation that is moving along, moving away, just the cycle of life, right? But those who are staying have very little skill to continue doing these things. So if my projections are that carpet cleaning, business cleaning, you know, snow removal, these kind of businesses are gonna continue to be so critical to all of our lives. And people who are starting to learn these skills and learn how to run these businesses and train people to continue servicing in these spaces are gonna be very well positioned to take on the next step of our journey as a country. Okay. Probably that's not what you're looking to get, but those are my 2 cents.
And again, as Montadella pointed out, always do your research. Always follow up and do your research on your industry to see what the trends are so that you can make sure that you're staying in touch with the things that can assist you as a business owner. Um, Another question about another industry. Can vending machines still be profitable in this economy, and what should I research before getting started in addition to the products that they should be selling?
Ooh, big one. Again, in this one, we'll again recommend, doing a little bit of your own research. I have one client who owns vending machines, but they were very, very, uh, they looked into the market. They found a space that is not just putting their vending machine, you know, and anywhere. What they decided to do was to put their vending machines in two primary locations. Number one, hospitals, and number two, they put it in high-end neighborhoods or communities. Okay, so they kind of niched a little bit, even though it's a pretty much regular product and offering, but they really went down into choosing where to place their vending machines and their profit. At least they are. I can't speak about the entire market though.
That was really the last of the questions. I do want to remind everyone, as Lantadilla pointed out, that this is the first in the series of 6 sessions that we're doing on building a business plan. The next one is products and services. They're going to be held every Tuesday at 10 a.m. The next one is 611, products and services, 618, market analysis, 625,
Yep.
operations management, July
Mhm.
2nd, strategic planning, and July 9th, financial and risk management. Lantadella will be doing the 618 one. I highly recommend that you attend that one, but I highly recommend that you attend all of them. So
Yep.
for everyone,
Taya,
I'm sorry, yes.
there are two questions that I'm
Oh, some
seeing
more
here
came
that we
in.
didn't cover.
Sorry. Okay. Yes, what? Oh,
There is one from I think Diana Haynes. Uh, so what kind of things
oh, I
should
didn't
be
see that
put
one.
in
Sorry.
place to ensure your business can function if you have to step away? That's a very complex question, but here's just a high level, right? You need to understand what are the key functions that makes a business and viable, right? Sales function. A business without sales is not a business. How you get clients, right? You need to put processes and systems in place from lead generation to client onboarding, operations, right? Servicing clients, whatever your industry is, what are the processes from providing client value? Human resources, number three, right? From talent acquisition to client development to client offboarding, firing, and then you have finance function, right? That includes accounting, financial reporting, treasury, cash flow management, and so forth, right? right? You need to make sure you understand that. And number five, your strategy, right? How do you compete in the marketplace? What are the system for that and for managing risk and ensuring the survival of the business? Okay, so but I would strongly recommend scheduling a call with a score mentor, right, to help you develop that. And then Adisa asked, how credible is IB's word report when it comes to business data? I've used both, and I have questioned in some cases both of them with some of the data they provide based on my understanding and conversation with businesses and business owner in different space. um, I can't speak on their lack or not lack of credibility, but they provide their methodology for the methodology they use to create their content. So I would strongly recommend you to read their research methodology. And if you understand statistics, that would be helpful, right? To determine whether or not they are actually following, a scientific methodology and approach to putting together, industry reports. Uh, and then yeah, I think that's the only two that I think we did miss, unless there is any new question here.
Let's see here. How do I get a SCORE mentor? Please go to score.org and request a mentor. There's a tab that you can click on.
Yep.
Deanna says her question wasn't answered, but you answered it. Thank you very much for the webinar. And
Thank you.
okay. If they're not available to view the recordings, please sign up, and that way you will be listed as one of the individuals that's interested in receiving a copy of the recordings. So again, there are five more in the series. For those who are interested in going to all of the sessions, we will be providing a certificate of completion for all of the 6. And then finally, I just want to say that SCORE is a nonprofit association dedicated to helping small businesses get off the ground, to grow and achieve their goals through education and mentorship. We have over 10,000 volunteers nationwide. So if you have a particular interest or an industry that you're interested in, there is someone who has some information about that industry. We're funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the SBA. So all opinions, conclusions, and/or recommendations expressed within our webinars are those of our authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of the SBA. Want to thank you once again for joining us, Lantadilla. I really appreciate you. You are, as usual, providing wonderful content for the individuals that work with us, and we really value you as a mentor. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.